Ikemoto just told us everything regarding Himawari going into this fight against Mamushi. He told us how they will encounter each other, he told us who's going to assist her in this battle, he even told us there's a timeline where she dies in this interaction. In this video, we're going to be focusing on Himawari and her role in this upcoming battle. But first, before we get into the video, I want to kindly ask everyone to drop a hype on the video. As you all probably know, we're kind of experimenting with that new feature on YouTube. It's supposed to directly push the video into higher algorithms on YouTube, even more than likes. So if you enjoyed the video and want to leave a hype, that would be greatly appreciated. But now, on to the video. So if you didn't know by now, Himawari is going to be a very reoccurring character in damn near every arc in this manga. Ikemoto made it very clear to us that he wanted her to have a heavier role in the story going into the time skip. And he didn't disappoint in delivering that to us. The whole reason she inherited the power of the Nine Tails was so she could be that character for us. The fact that she has Kurama tells us that she's not gonna be an ordinary ninja. At worst, she's supposed to be in the top 10 strongest characters in the story when it's all said and done. So her role in the story is very prolific compared to a lot of other characters. And recently, in chapter 25, we see her training with Kurama for the first time since they met. This training is a clear indication of her hunger to get stronger, to be like her father and big brothers, even her hunger to help Boruto. She has motivating factors that drive her to actually become this overwhelming force in the story. Once that was established, the rest was history. So we dive deeper into this training, which was specifically meant for them to better synchronize their chakra through Himawari's chakra control. And to do that, her control over her chakra must be better. This is going to end up being a huge advantage she has. It's going to help her develop into a much better fighter, just being able to control her absurd amount of chakra. Because being combined with a tailed beast, your chakra levels are already off the charts. And since she has way more chakra than the average person, it allows her to fight a certain way, a way that only works for her. When Naruto had Kurama, the concept of being strategic with his chakra was pretty much a non-factor. It wasn't a complete non-factor, but he didn't have to worry about it, unlike someone like Kakashi, who had to plan out every attack and carefully analyze the fight and take into account of their chakra exhaustion because his chakra is very limited. And once his chakra is all gone, he's basically out of the fight. That's why whenever he used Kamui, he was bedridden for a few weeks at a time. So he really had no choice but to be strategic with his fighting and plan accordingly. Even Sasuke had to do it, especially when he first learned how to perform the Chidori. At first, Kakashi stated that his maximum output was about 2 blows. After that, he was strongly advised to not even try using it a third time, because if he did, it wouldn't only not work, but the attempt could drain his remaining chakra to 0, which would kill him. Naruto out the gate was summoning hundreds of clones without second thought, using Rasengan and different forms of the technique without worrying about draining his chakra. Because on top of his already large reserves of chakra just from being a Uzumaki, he always had another source of chakra that was even larger than his own, being the Nine Tails. This allowed him to fight primarily using his chakra to be more aggressive in his style of fighting, which is why Naruto always excelled at upfront combat and ambushing instead of stealthily movement and tactical assassination style combat. And it's gonna be the same with Himawari, especially since she comes from the Uzumaki household. So like I said before, her chakra reserves was always pretty high. And on top of that, she now has a secondary source of chakra in Kurama, who is not only willing to lend her chakra whenever she needs it, but he's also willing to work together with her to get her to the point where she needs to be at to properly utilize his power. Something Naruto didn't have access to until he befriended Kurama near the end of the series. So you guys can kind of see why I always said that Himawari has way more potential than Naruto when it comes to the overall synchronization with their tailed beasts. With good chakra control, you can do things like accurately applying precise amounts of chakra for specific tasks like creating more powerful and effective jutsu, and even more advanced feats like creating new elemental attacks and healing others. Basically, a lot of the feats that Naruto performed in the 4th Green Ninja War. Applying different releases to base techniques like the Rasen Shuriken, making a boy release version, water release, magnet release, lava release, etc. All these feats were possible due not only the power that Naruto received from all the tailed beasts combined, but also because of good old-fashioned chakra control. And what about the feats that Himawari was already shown to be able to do without any prior training at all, like using her chakra to heal wounds? It takes precise chakra control to even qualify to be a medical ninja. But Himawari, without any prior knowledge on medical ninjutsu, was able to completely heal Inojin's gaping wound to the point where Sakura said it's hard to even believe he had an injury in the first place. And she was able to heal Sarada's wrist after Jura shot it with a Biju laser. And mind you, her wrist was not only shot, the nerves in her wrist was also said to have been damaged as well. So Himawari took a feat which is supposed to take extreme precision and years of training and performed it almost instinctively. So that's just a sneak peek at what can be accomplished with the Nine-Tails chakra. So you see why this training is so important. Even if she somehow starts running around with KCM, the chakra control matters greatly. In fact, Kurama wants her to stop fighting like a ninja and more like a beast, similar to how Naruto fought when he was influenced by the Nine-Tails chakra, but most likely a bit more controlled and analytical. And she already started fighting like that against Jura. That's exactly how he pictured her fighting abilities. At this point, it's all about honing that style of combat, bettering her chakra control, and synchronization between her and Kurama. Now, even before this training, Kashin Koji showed us a glimpse of what was to come in the future of the story. And yes, from now on, we're probably gonna get a few more of these visions, so we should pay extreme attention to them because it reveals what we will see in the upcoming 5 to 10 chapters. It's literally Ikemoto confirming what fights we will hope to see in the future. Most of these visions already happened. The one with Jura, Boruto laid out on the ground, even the one with Inojin weaving the one-handed seal of confrontation. We know the context of many of these situations, but a few. And the ones where we don't know yet remain the Hidari vision of him reaching his hands out, possibly the vision of Damon, and the one with Himawari. Actually, let me know in the comment section what you guys think the other visions could be and the context of the situation. And let me tell you what, the one who has the best comment, I'm gonna pin it. But as it pertains to this vision in particular, this one is as clear as day. The situation lines up all too well. Himawari is going to be the first person that Mamushi encounters, and all that has to do with Mamushi's biological makeup. He is a divine tree predominantly made up of Ten-Tails DNA. We look back at chapter 8, Juro was able to sense the Biju chakra flowing in Himawari, therefore finding her exact location and flying to it. Mamushi is aware of Konoha's sensory unit, therefore he told him as well as his clones to suppress their chakra signatures. So if Konoha doesn't immediately pick up on his chakra signature, Himawari or Kurama should be still able to pick up on his aura. Similar to how Kawaki can still pick up on Boruto's presence strictly because they are both Otsutsuki. Now this would potentially lead to Himawari encountering Mamushi somewhere in the middle of Konoha. Mamushi wants to keep the fighting in Konoha to a minimum because of Jura's wishes. That's why Kashin Koji said it's best to challenge him directly to a fight if you want to defeat him. And this is where the action starts, because this is exactly what will happen. Himawari will encounter Mamushi, who prior nobody was able to sense because of him hiding his chakra signature. That's where this vision comes from. Himawari encountering Mamushi for the first time. Now in this battle we're introduced to two timelines. The timeline where Himawari lives and the timeline where she was killed. I'm gonna explain both, but first I think I want to explain the timeline where she dies. So the only thing we know about this timeline is the fact that Koji wanted Inojin to train and develop a new jutsu so it doesn't happen. And this jutsu was developed by him to seek vengeance for Himawari's death. Koji then stated that the theories and techniques he gained because of him developing this jutsu were of great value. So he's directly counting on Inojin to master this jutsu to help guide the future to a better outcome. And because of this information, we can kind of see how the bad future played out. It probably had to do with Himawari, who had not fully developed and awoken to her true potential and abilities, to be defeated because of Mamushi and his clones. Now to further understand, this is probably a timeline where Konoha didn't have access to Kashin Koji's prescience ability. So this future directly ties into the worst possible future, the future that Boruto spoke of to Code. And what happened at the end of this timeline? The planet's death, a future where Boruto was killed by Jura, and what follows is Kawaki getting devoured, which leads to the planet's death. All of this could have happened within a week period, which could have given each of the Shinju time to fully devour their target. Matsuri devouring Konohamaru, Hidari devouring Sarada, and Mamushi coming to Konoha to devour Ada. So there's plenty of time for the events to play out like they have, since it was not specified when Kawaki got devoured. That means even after Boruto's death, Konoha still tried to take actions to eliminate the threat of the Shinju, even without Boruto or Kashin Koji, which would cause Himawari's death by Mamushi, and Inojin to develop this jutsu all before the end of the planet. So most bad scenarios that is shared by Koji is directly from the worst possible future. So now, like always, Koji's job is to avoid this future at all costs, which is why he invited Inojin to the hideout, because his value was already confirmed once Ino decided to stop helping Shikamaru, which Koji probably already foresaw. So Inojin has 3 roles: to act as a way for Shikamaru and Koji to contact each other, to keep Himawari alive, and provide a way for Mamushi to be defeated. So this is where the good future comes in. If Inojin can master this jutsu in the span of 2 days, then that greatly increases the chances of victory and for Himawari to stay alive. The chances already increased because of Boruto's survival, but to provide an easier way for Mamushi to be defeated, Inojin must learn this technique. So like I said, if he can master it, it's all good. But if he doesn't, the chances of the worst possible future happening increases. Koji's job is to decrease these chances to below 5%, and he's supposed to do everything in his power to make it happen, even if he has to sacrifice someone like Yodo. And just to be clear, for this future to not happen, more sacrifices might have to be made. If not sacrifices, then extremely hard choices will have to be made. So for the sake of the video, let's say he masters this new jutsu and in a few days like Koji says. Could he have gotten more time to do it? Sure. Why did Koji wait until the last minute to inform them on Mamushi's abilities? For a dramatic effect, I guess. But that doesn't matter anymore. So if Inojin masters this jutsu, then he can actually be there to potentially save Himawari from Mamushi. To show how the future changed from Inojin learning this technique, he's gonna help Himawari in her time of need against Mamushi. And this new ability he learned from Koji could be used to make quick work of him. I noticed this is the preferred way for Koji to change the future. He takes everyone's power or abilities that they learn or awaken when it's basically too late and teach it to them at a time where they could benefit from it the most. Boruto learning the flying Raijin, Sarda awakening her MS, Kawaki removing his limiters, and now Inojin learning a new mind-body technique. So if Himawari is destined to fight against Mamushi relatively early in his evasion of Konoha, the story is setting Inojin up to single-handedly change the timeline so she survives this encounter. And they have a few ways to make it happen. They can have him come in and save her after she fought with Mamushi for a few pages, or they can have him swoop in with his Super Beast Scroll technique and save her from a devastating attack, even saving her from a lethal blow by using this new jutsu on Mamushi to interrupt their fight. And these events could lead to a tag team between Himawari and Inojin versus Mamushi and his clones, which I think is pretty inevitable. Since Mamushi can split his body and each clone has the same strength as the original, it's easy to be overwhelmed, especially if one of these clones was able to body Boruto and press him enough to make him use FTG to escape his grasp. So Mamushi is insanely strong. There's no way Himawari is even ready to handle a threat of this magnitude. So to say she loses or needs help against Mamushi is completely normal at this point in her development. Now the question that we have to be answering is what will entail from this tag team? What jutsu will Inojin learn and master? Will it help them be able to win? Or are they just saving time for someone stronger to arrive like Boruto and or Kawaki? Let me know what you all think down below in the comment section. There's really no wrong answers because the possibilities are endless. But one thing I'm certain about, this fight is gonna be intense, and I can't wait for Himawari to show us just how much stronger she gotten since her battle against Jura not too long ago. So anyway, of course, if you guys enjoyed this video and don't mind seeing more like this in the near future, go ahead and like the video, comment, subscribe, and turn on post notifications so you don't miss another video like this or when I go live for chapter spoilers. And until my next one, I'll see you boys and girls later, and I'm out. Peace.